Welcome back to the Camdenton Area Chamber Chat. I'm your host, Jeff Carr, founder of the Veteran Discount Guide and board member. We're going to be diving into something that impacts everyone who drives through the lake area, upcoming Highway 54 projects and improvements. We're lucky enough to have Danny Rager with us, who works for MoDOT. He's going to help us understand what's happening, what's next, and how it all benefits the community. We'll be checking in with Corinne in just a little bit and find out some upcoming events that are going on at the Chamber. We're excited about some new programs, some new events, some fun things that are happening. And we'll find out more with Corinne in just a little bit. Right now, we introduce our guest, Danny. Thanks for joining us today. We're super glad to have you with us.
Absolutely. It's my pleasure to be here. I sure appreciate the invitation, Jeff, and always good to see you. Great catching up with you.
You too. I'm glad we could go right to the source when it came to this kind of stuff. Our goal today is to get the word out about all things that are Highway 54, the main lifeline of the Lake of the Ozarks, certainly on that one side of the Lake of the Ozarks. Lots happening. But before we get to that, let's talk a little bit about your position at MoDOT, what you do there, what your team focuses on. Give us a little insight about your time there at MoDOT.
Absolutely. I appreciate it. I've been with the department since 2013. I'm a graduate of Missouri University up in Columbia. So go Tigers. So I first moved actually back to Lake of the Ozarks and joined the private sector in 2010, and then transferred over to MoDOT in our construction division in 2013, where I was a part of a number of different projects. I was fortunate enough actually to be an intern when we constructed the expressway in Osage Beach. And in 2017 was offered the position of area engineer in the Clinton area. So the Truman Lake, Stockton Lake, Palm de Terre. I served those communities to the west of Lake of the Ozarks since 2017. And then in 2022, I was fortunate enough to move back home. So being a lake local, growing up here at Lake of the Ozarks, it was an easy decision to take on the challenge of being the area engineer for Lake of the Ozarks. And so I've been here for the last 3 years now, a little over 3, and finally feeling like I'm getting settled.
Well, you and I are really lucky that we got to come home to work. Both of us could have ended up anywhere, but we got really lucky to come back to the Lake of the Ozarks. Let's talk a little bit about Highway 54, and first of all, its importance to the lake. And the expressway, not the bypass, the expressway was a huge step in changing the way we get from point A to point B here at the Lake of the Ozarks. And it's pretty cool that you were there for that project.
That's right. So the lake, for those that remember before the expressway, how congested everything, and really the lake's growth was at a maximum. There was absolutely no room for expansion. Folks were avoiding the lake because of the congestion. It would take what should take a 15-minute commute to get from home to the grocery store on any given day in the lake season would take well over an hour just to make that easy 4 or 5 mile commute just to get your groceries. So the importance of the expressway through Osage Beach and what that's done for Lake of the Ozarks, and just the overall importance of the entire corridor, stretching from Kingdom City, trying to get folks essentially from St. Louis to Lake of the Ozarks, especially from the east and into Camdenton area, and what we've got going forward. So there are 3 projects in the works, all at different phases, one of which is not just funded, but under contract. And the work that's taking place right now on the west end of Camdenton with the widening, a project slated for bid and hopefully award here soon through the winter months, should we get some good competitive bids from our contracting workforce, to resurface from the square in Camdenton all the way through Osage Beach, and then as well as a study to recommend the necessary improvements to mitigate the congestion, but also improve safety along that east side of Camdenton and what's to come in the future there. So really those three major highlight projects to chat about today.
Well, do we have a timeline that we're looking at for a complete improvement, or is this something that's going to be an ongoing project for the foreseeable future?
Well, let's tackle each one at a time. So the first project that's already under contract, there's utility relocates underway to get that infrastructure out of the way to allow us to widen the 3-lane facility from the square to Bumper Hill Road. So the western limits of the city limits. We're going to widen the existing footprint of Highway 54 to 5 lanes. So we're going to construct an additional lane each direction past the bear market, past the facility I'm sitting in right now, the Camdenton Chamber. So excited to see the capacity improvements, the safety improvements to better allow folks, especially as they approach the square, to mitigate the congestion. So that project is currently underway. Capital Paving was awarded that contract a few months ago. At the time this is going to be aired, they should be mobilizing. So the timing of this very podcast, this episode is ironic in that we should have contractors on the ground starting, at least mobilizing into the area to start the widening and the excavation work necessary for the new 2 lanes of Highway 54.
Danny Rager with Missouri Department of Transportation is sitting in with us talking about improvements to Highway 54, how it affects the community, how it affects people driving through our tourism industry. For businesses and residents that are tuning in, what can they expect as far as construction, and how can they stay updated on what's going on besides tuning into podcasts? What are the best ways to find out about closures and detours, et cetera?
Let's start with that. So the best way to receive or obtain information as quickly as actually the media gets it, folks can sign up for our press releases that we issue at major hold points or major changes in traffic. They can go to modot.org, and under the locals tab under Central District, there's a project page titled Major Projects, where they can find this very project and look over not just all the current information and timeline and where we're at and where we stand today, but sign up for those media press releases. So as we need to alert folks of traffic shifts or lane closures, potential impacts, they can sign up for those media releases immediately and get those as soon as any major media market receives them as well.
Well, I know as a member of the Camdenton board, we're dealing with the signage out front of our building for folks that have businesses along that 54 corridor. Talk about how they're going to be impacted over the next few years.
Right. So at a minimum, we will maintain during daytime hours, during the heaviest travel period during the day, at minimum 2 lanes of two-way travel. So there will be some lane closures at nighttime. There will be some restricted movements. However, every single establishment, every business, every property will maintain at a minimum right in, right out access at least one of their driveways. So if you have multiple driveways, there's the potential we could close one, but still leaving one open at a minimum, and also the right in, right out. So you may be restricted at times to making a right turn, traveling down the roadway and finding a suitable location to make a U-turn to travel back the opposite direction. However, at a minimum during the daytime operations, we'll maintain two-way travel.
Well, that's the pain. How about the benefit for businesses and commuters and the tourists that come down here to the Lake of the Ozarks? What do you see as the benefits of this project?
Well, it's additional capacity. So as folks, and especially at the square with the stoplight, as folks approach that, this will allow for more capacity. So those queues, those backups will be significantly shorter, but also just mobility through the corridor. And with better mobility should come better safety. So There should be a reduction in total crashes, albeit the severity ideally would also go down as well. But those backups, the congestion, just with more capacity means folks can get through the area easier, safer, and better, quicker.
All right. Anything exciting, noteworthy coming down the road that we can share? Things that you're excited about, things that maybe you're revealing for the first time here today?
Well, let's dive into the study, and there's a little information that I can certainly share. The document as a whole is something that will and cannot be released fully to the public, just due to the sensitivity of some of the information, the personal information that's included, and the specifics about the crash history and the involvement of those crashes. So I can't share the document in its entirety. And at this current time, we're there are stakeholders, business owners along, especially this first phase, that need to be contacted and consulted with, and allow their input prior to releasing all the specifics about the recommendations of the improvements. So to back up, let's discuss our long range transportation process here as an agency, and the stakeholders and the key members and the entities involved with that process. Camdenton has long been identified, really since the pandemic, especially the east side of Camdenton, needing safety improvements and capacity and congestion mitigation improvements. So a couple years ago, the entity, the group that our state agency, that the Missouri Department of Transportation utilizes to really best develop a list of what is needed in the long range, which we consult with our regional planning commissions across the state and the metropolitan planning organizations. So here at Lake of the Ozarks, that is the Lake of the Ozarks Council of Local Governments. So we use that entity, that body, to develop, and we ask that group to develop what we call the high priority unfunded needs list. And that list is what we go to as we have funds available to pull projects into our program and see those through fruition into the future, as funding, again, the big caveat, as funding is available. So that group, that body, knew there was an issue with the congestion. We knew there was an issue with the congestion and needed safety improvements along the east side of Camdenton, there at Highway 5 interchange out towards Cecil Street, towards Walmart. We identified that pretty easily, that there's a needed improvement there. So that body decided, hey, let's take a step back and let's prioritize for MoDOT a study. Let's just get a study going. MoDOT hire a consultant, hire some engineers, and best make the recommendation for those necessary improvements. So we took a step back a few years ago. We had the funds available to go ahead and contract a consultant. That contractor and that consultant was selected to collect all the data, analyze the data, and generate models proving that their recommendation will mitigate the congestion there at 54 and the interchange at Highway 5. So that study is now complete. And like I said, I can't share the specifics quite yet with those recommended improvements. But similar to the west side, like I mentioned, with the capacity, along with capacity improvements, additional lanes, that is one of the more obvious solutions to mitigating the congestion on the east side as well. So again, there's some entities, some groups, some access management included in those recommendations, and those property owners really need to be consulted first as they're most impacted. So that's the current phase, is contacting those, presenting the recommendations there, and as we move further into the future, there will be more information released about the study and the recommendations. There is one caveat to that. This sequencing of this study is State Representative Jeff Vernetti, through General Revenue, through the appropriations process at the Capitol, with general revenue funds, he secured $4 million through appropriations to go ahead and implement the recommendation from this study for the recommended improvements for the study. So we went back to our consultant, and even though obviously all the necessary improvements to mitigate all the congestion into the future, modeled out 25 years into the future, would take more than just the 4 million, we asked our consultant to go ahead and prioritize how would you best spend that first $4 million. So as part of our study, we do have it structured so it can be implemented in phases, so that incremental improvements can be made through segments of the corridor that would mitigate congestion and buy some time. It may not buy us the full 25 years that the model shows for all of the improvements, but it'll buy us some time and get us caught up and mitigate the congestion as it is today out there. So excited to see that. Currently, where that funding currently sits, Governor Kehoe, while he didn't veto it entirely, which historically has been the norm for these very specific earmarked projects by administrations prior to, Governor Kehoe only placed it on a restricted list, meaning his office is anticipating a shortfall in funding relative to what the General Assembly's estimations were for how much budget the state is likely to have. So there are a little bit of conflicting levels of available resources at the state level. And so he placed this project as well as 31 others on that restricted list. So they're not vetoed, but unfortunately, until we can show as Missourians that our state revenue is there as projected, like the General Assembly was guessing, we can release those funds. So we're optimistic that Governor Kehoe in the future, this fiscal year, will release those funds, and we will hit the ground running as soon as we can to allocate those funds towards that project and start implementing as much as we can with the available resources as he releases them.
Danny Rager with MoDOT is with us, and we're talking about improvements for Highway 54, specifically on how they benefit and affect the folks in Camdenton. Besides patience, for the people that are watching this and the business owners and the people that are going to be driving through, any other recommendations for those folks that have to live with this day to day until the improvements are done, until we can reap those benefits?
So one of the unique aspects that our consultant actually struggled with in the modeling with the software used to model the existing facilities is actually lane assignment. So I would recommend for folks who are traveling westbound specifically, who are conflicting or competing with the lanes for those trying to enter Highway 5. So if you are a through mover on Highway 54 traveling westbound, coming to the Camdenton Chamber office, I would encourage you to go ahead and use the left lane there for a little bit. Get out of the way. There's a number of folks, a majority of folks, trying to access Highway 5, whether it's northbound or southbound. Free up that right lane and hop over in the left lane if you're traveling through on Highway 54, and better equally distribute the traffic and the congestion. So don't stack in the right lane. Go ahead and utilize that left lane. Get past all that, the turning movements onto Highway 5 and all that congestion there. And if you're traveling westbound, again, just use that left lane.
All right. Well, the next time we bring Danny on, we're going to talk about things like zipper merge, and we're going to talk about, we're going to have conversations about these roundabouts that seem to be popping up everywhere. A lot more to talk about with Danny Rager from Missouri Department of Transportation. But thanks for this information. We appreciate it, my friend. And thanks for joining us on Chamber Chat. Valuable information that folks can use on a day-to-day basis. And we look forward to coming back and actually talking about the successes and how it's changed our community for the better. Danny, we appreciate your time.
Absolutely. Thank you, Jeff.
Okay, I want to thank Danny again for joining us. Danny Rager from MoDOT checking in. Now let's talk about some fun stuff that's coming up over the next couple of weeks with Corinne Harkins, our director of the Camdenton Area Chamber of Commerce. Exciting times for the chamber. We've got a lot of fun stuff coming up. What are you looking forward to, Corinne?
All right. Well, the first thing is annual dinner. So today is actually the last day to RSVP for your annual dinner spot. And so that is, of course, Thursday, November 20th from 5 to 8 p.m. at the Exchange venue. Our theme is Thursday Night Football. It's going to be a blast. It is $40 a person if you do not have that tiered membership. So definitely reach out today. Email, give us a call, and we will get you on the list. If you are watching this podcast, not on November 7th, go ahead, still give us a call. We may have a spot for you, but definitely try and get those RSVPs in right now.
All right. Very good. We're excited about that and the chance to get together and have a little fun kind of across the street there at the Exchange. It's a beautiful venue, and we're looking forward to that. Let's talk upcoming events like the Expo. I know that's on our list already, and that's something that comes up that's a couple of months away.
I know, but for vendors, I've been getting a lot of calls, and vendor applications are open. So check our website just under, Expo. You can download the application there and send it in, or you can email myself. So if you don't have your vendor application in, they're available now, and those spots will go quick. So definitely want to prioritize that. And the Expo is going to be Friday and Saturday, February 27th and 28th.
We're looking at Campana Hall this year, moving things back over to the Lodge of Four Seasons, and we're excited to have them be our host this year. For those folks that used to us being across the street, we're excited about the Lodge of Four Seasons being the host. They are big members of the community, and we're excited to be there. Socials, ribbon cuttings, things like that. What do we got coming up in November and 1st of December?
Little bit of a slower season right now, but definitely want to point out coming to Camdenton. So that's going to be December 11th from 3 to 4:30 at Laclede Electric. So definitely come out, hear from your local leaders what's new coming to the area, what legislative priorities are going to be affecting your business. And so we definitely have some hot topics of conversation on the slate for that meeting.
Yeah, exciting stuff. The chamber newsletter, Facebook updates, stuff like that. How do you get information about what's going on with the chamber?
Yeah, so you can sign up for our newsletter just right on the front page of our website. So camdentonchamber.com, right on the right. Stay in the know, just enter in your email, and you will get our weekly newsletter that goes out every Thursday. And that will definitely keep you up to date with not only what the Camdenton Chamber is doing, but with what a lot of our members are doing, right? So definitely a great way to keep up to date with events going on and fundraisers or, great weekend activities where you can take the family, right? And so definitely recommend that resource. And then of course, just our Facebook page, Camdenton Area Chamber. And so we're going to keep that definitely up to date. My goal is to have everything at least 3 months in advance up there. And so you'll definitely be kept in the know.
Well, before we wrap this up, I just want to say that as far as the Veteran Discount Guide, my business, the chamber has made such a difference. The Camdenton Area Chamber is a special group of people, and we're just super excited about 2026, increasing our business, making life a little bit better for the people of the area. And working together as a team, and we're just super excited to be a part of it. Have you lead us through the next chapter of the Camdenton Area Chamber of Commerce, and we're super excited to see you out there talking to all these businesses, and it looks like you're having fun with it.
I definitely am, and I am really excited for 2026. We have some new things coming up, and so I can share a little bit about some new things to come. So in 2026, we're going to be starting a Young Professionals Network, so keep your eye out for that, as well as some women in business events. We're also going to be doing some making the most of your membership workshops. So for those of you that are maybe new to the chamber, or maybe you've been a chamber member for a while, but you don't really know what all is included with your benefits, or what are all the marketing opportunities available to me? And so spreading some of those out throughout the year where you really can just be educated on all the resources that are available to you, because we have so many. And there are quite a few other things, expanding leads groups, so there's a lot of cool things coming in 2026, and I'm just excited to, here soon to be able to share even more about how to participate in those.
Well, contact Corinne to find out more about the Camdenton Area Chamber of Commerce, the leads, the events that are going on, how your business can improve by being a member, and this podcast too, which is coming out in the first part of November. We want to thank Danny Rager from MoDOT for joining us and sharing updates about all the things happening on the 54 quarter. Don't forget to stay connected with the Camdenton Area Chamber of Commerce on the Camden Chamber at Camdenton Chamber. No, that's not right. That's completely wrong. CamdentonChamber.com or on the Facebook page. Keep up with local events and opportunities. And until next time, for Corinne and for Danny, take care, and we'll see you at the next Chamber event.